Well, hello all my friends, welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the channel. I'm T of Crumpets Tea and Sewing here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you the 5 sewing fails that I have had in 2021. So if that is interesting to you, stick around and you'll learn more about these sewing fails. Okay, everyone, so we're going to go ahead and get into the video and talk about these 5 sewing fails that I have had in 2021. So I am proud of myself because I have made over 50 garments, and out of those garments, I've only had 5 sewing fails. So I'm really excited about that. I think the previous year I had quite a few more sewing fails, and so I'm definitely seeing a decrease. My whole goal last year was to sew consciously instead of actually going into projects and not having a plan and not using fabrics just to be using my fabrics. So I was sewing a little bit more consciously than I was the previous year. And so I'm so grateful that I was able to see the benefits of that. So with that said, let's talk about these sewing fails. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Lennox dress by Cashmere Patterns. Now the pattern itself is a phenomenal pattern and I have nothing against the pattern. However, I do believe that the fabric and the pattern combo was probably not the best combination there that I selected. So I chose this beautiful cotton silk fabric from Fabric Mart Fabrics. That fabric was actually sponsored to me in exchange for a blog post. And although I actually love the fabric, there were some drawbacks to the fabric. Mainly, it just frayed a lot. And even though I serged the seams after washing it, it just frayed beyond the seams. And so it just was not a fabric that actually held up. It frayed a lot. And then also it shifted some as well. And so the button placket in the front is all wonky. So I didn't like that. And then I had an issue with trying to size the princess seam. So the pattern comes with princess seams. And so you have your block that's on the side of your garment, and then you also have a front pattern as well. And so that side front pattern is the pattern that I had trouble with trying to reduce, because with the Cashmere Patterns, although this was a size 12 and you have your cup sizes, I selected the CD cup, I still was not able to fit the garment correctly. It was just a little bit too big, and I tried to pinch out some of the fabric on the side of the side front pattern, and it just was not working for me. And so I was really frustrated about that. So that's one issue that I had that I just could not overcome, and I had a problem with the pattern. And then not the pattern itself, I had a problem with the pattern. The pattern didn't have problems. I had a problem with the pattern. And then the skirt pattern was just so full and so big. And so because I'm so small on the bottom, I'm not a plus size when it comes to the bottom of my body. My plus size is on the top of my body. And so on the bottom, I'm usually somewhere around a medium, and that's usually somewhere around an 8 or a 10. And commercial patterns and in ready to wear fashion is around around about a 10, maybe a 12. And I just was not having any luck with sizing the waist with the bodice correctly, because I'm so disproportionate in size when it comes to my bust, my arms, and my waist. And so it just was not working for me. That garment, although it looks great in the photos, when I put it on, I can actually feel the difference, and it didn't work well for me. So that pattern is definitely a fail for me. And like I said, mostly the buttons were kind of all wonky, and I had to put snaps in between the buttons because my bust was, not popping out, but the fabric was pulling, and so the placket was not lining up. It was just a mess. So that was definitely a fail for me. I also failed with the McCalls M8119. So this is the pattern that has the notch collar on the neckline. You have different variations of the top where you can actually do a version with the drawstring. You could do a version with the elastic going around the bottom of the top. So I decided to go with the version with the drawstring. I can't remember which view that is, but that's the version that I decided to go with. And I just feel like that pattern does not look good at all on my frame. So when I say that it's a fail, like the sewing and the execution of going throughout the process of sewing the pattern was okay. The pattern itself was okay. It was a decent pattern, and I would definitely recommend the pattern. However, I just don't like the way that it looks on my frame. The silhouette is just very, and to me anyway, it's very awkward, and I could not seem to get any garment to go with it that looked appealing to me or flattering. So jeans, skirts, you know, any kind of pants or anything like that, I just could not get anything to go with it that looked very flattering to me. And so that's definitely a fail for me because I don't like the way that it looks on my frame, and it just makes me look very top heavy. I also made the McCalls M8219. Now this is probably the fail of the year. Like the top on the top of the fail list is the McCalls M8219. Now this is a top that is a knit top, and it has like this very deep plunging V neckline, and it's not supposed to be plunging. It is supposed to be somewhat of a V neckline, but this is very plunging and it's very open. The pattern itself has some issues with the neckline that needs to be corrected. And then also I was not happy with the fact that I had to either create an inset to go inside the garment so that my bust doesn't show, or wear camisole underneath. Now the garment looks great after putting it on and wearing it or whatever, but the process, the sewing process, is definitely one that I did not enjoy. I had so many issues that I had to correct with the pattern itself. And then, like I said, I didn't like the fact that I have to wear a camisole underneath the pattern as well. So although it looks good and it's great to wear around the house and maybe even go, you know, grocery shopping or, you know, running errands with it, it's definitely not a pattern that I actually enjoyed. And so it's definitely a fail for me. The other pattern that was a fail for me is the Burberry Style 6202. Now, this pattern has promise. However, I really don't like making too many alterations or adjustments with patterns. And this one, I feel like I had to make a lot of adjustments to the neckline. So although the neckline does look like it is dropping a little bit near the shoulders on this pattern, I had to do some significant alterations on the neckline to get the neckline to actually pull up and inward so that it wasn't falling off my shoulder. And so I really did not like that. I had to put elastic, and I had to make a channel and put elastic around the neckline so that I could draw the pattern up. And not only that, I had to widen the neckline, the neckband on the neckline as well. And so I had some issues with that. Now, although the pattern overall looks okay, I feel like just like with the McCalls M8198 pattern, this pattern kind of makes me look top heavy, especially with the fabric that I chose, the white background with the floral blue going throughout the fabric. I feel like it makes me look very top heavy, and so I didn't really like that either. But mostly I feel like the pattern, the neckline of the pattern was just too much to work with. I made two versions of this top. I made the one that you're seeing here, and then I also made another version to try to give the pattern another chance. And so I made another version, and that version did not hold up well either. So I think in the future, if I were to make this pattern, I would probably make the raglan sleeves into a flutter sleeve so that it could be more flattering for my arms, and then also try to alter the neckline on the actual pattern instead of the band, and bring that neckline up a little bit, so that way I don't have to worry about putting elastic going throughout the neckband to hold the neckline up so that it's not falling off on the shoulder. So that's the issue that I had with that. And then lastly, the last fail is the first version of the Lottie blouse that I made. Now, the reason why this is a fail is, I believe, is because I gained weight as I was waiting to sew this one. And so the last two makes of the Lottie blouse that I made actually ended up being my favorite of 2021. And so, but the one that was in my UFO pile, I took that out, sewed that up. I didn't like the print on it. I didn't like the neckline. And that could also be a major reason why I didn't really like it, the first version, because I actually altered the neckline in the second versions that I've made. And so I just did not like the original pattern. It had this keyhole opening that came with a bias binding that was too long for the keyhole opening, and the neckties were the pattern didn't come with any kind of clear instructions on how to attach the tie and also the neck binding. And so I ended up recreating the neckline of the pattern. And yeah, but anyway, I absolutely love the altered version that I made of it. However, the first version, it just did not go well. I didn't like the print that I chose. And also, like I said, I gained weight, and so the top does not look as pleasing as the last two versions. So I forgot to include this Valentine's Day dress that I made with the Tracy Reese McCalls M8219. So even though I really love this pattern, the fabric that I was working with was not structured enough for this pattern, and because of that, I ended up with a really wonky button placket, and the hem is also uneven. So although I love the pattern, I didn't like working with the fabric. The fabric is a polyester fabric that I had purchased from Hobby Lobby, and it just did not work for this project, and for that reason this is a sewing fail. I will, however, keep the garment and wear it once or twice before I donate it, but this is definitely a sewing fail. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you can receive notifications of my videos when I upload them. I hope you all have a blessed and happy Saturday, and until next time, stay creative, my friends. Bye.